Hello, guys. Welcome to this podcast in the galaxy. I'm your host, Rayon. We have such a great panel today. We have Matthew, who is new to the podcast. We also have Roger, who's new to the podcast. Returning today, we have Connor, who was on our Monday episode. So, Matthew, introduce us. Introduce yourself.
I'm Matt, and I'm tired, and I'm here to stay.
Alright, Roger.
Hey, I'm Roger. I've done radio for years, and I'm a huge movie lover, and so I feel like I fit in pretty well around here.
Awesome. So today we have such a great show. We will be breaking down the news. We have 6 major news stories. We also will be talking about upcoming movies and the moment of truth. We will be revealing your questions and answering them actually on the podcast. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first news story today is that Daniel Craig had a $150 million deal for 2 more Bond films. That's $75 million for 2 Bond films. So, panel, what is your thought? What are your thoughts on this deal?
Can I go first?
Oh yeah, sure.
I think this is it's quite astonishing, honestly, that they were going to offer Daniel Craig this amount of money for 2 more Bond films, and I find it it's a bit unfair for many ways, because we're having to pander to Daniel Craig's schedule, which could take a while, whereas in my opinion they could easily just find a fresh actor for like a fifth of the money and go into production possibly by next year, mid next year at some point. But we're having to wait for Daniel Craig to make up his mind whether or not he wants to come back or not. It's a bit ridiculous, don't you think?
What do you guys think?
Well, I'm gonna come in here, if you don't mind. I've never really seen any of the James Bond movies, so I don't really know if I don't know if Daniel Craig's a big hit in this series.
Yeah, he is.
But it's a pretty big payout for 2 movies.
I wouldn't say that he's worth this money, but he was widely acclaimed for his run, but mainly a lot of people saw him as the best since Sean Connery, or maybe the best overall because of his faithfulness to the source material and such.
I wouldn't say he's the best than Sean Connery. I personally did like what's his name? Chris Brosnan. I liked him better. I liked some of his earlier, this is his last one. No. But you have to think, when coming into this, Daniel Craig had the highest grossing James Bond movie of all time.
Skyfall.
With Skyfall. But then it did drop a good bit with Spectre, and it didn't have as good reviews. But it was still a solid James Bond movie, and it introduced a solid James Bond villain. But I also read, when I was looking into this, that the reason why they're trying to get him back to do 2 more is so they don't have to rush to find somebody else, and they could just finish off Daniel Craig's James Bond story. And so I think that would actually work very well, instead of them trying to rush and bring in a new guy.
Wait, hold on. You're having mic issues. Do you mind muting yourself and then trying to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I can do that. Is that better?
Oh yeah, it's better.
Wait, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Alright. So, what part did you not hear?
Oh no, I heard everything. It was just kind of chipping out.
Okay.
So yeah.
But
That's...
I wouldn't say he's worth as much as that, but to do 1 more, I think, would be better than to do 2 more.
Well, also you have to factor in that Sony is in a major slump right now. I mean, they are kind of losing Spider-Man. I mean, they have some creative control over Spider-Man Homecoming, but they aren't making much money right now. And Men in Black plus this 21 Jump Street crossover, I don't think that will do too well. So they don't really have much going for them right now. So I guess they're holding on to whatever they can as of right now.
Well, I see their Spider-Man franchise. They're going to still get the money from that movie, but Marvel's mainly creative with that. Also, they're going to be doing a animated Spider-Man movie, and that Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover movie. I'll bet my money that movie does not ever actually come out. Even though they announced it, Jonah Hill has said that he does not think that they're going to be doing it. So they could be in some real trouble if Spider-Man doesn't pick up as well as they hope, and these other franchises don't come together as well as they need them to. So I agree with you.
Great points. So,
before we move on from the Daniel Craig subject, people are saying it's an expensive price, which you're right to say that, but he did make James Bond more accessible to a lot of people. Because it went from being a very nerdy thing to a mainstream film series.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Star Trek has become recently with these movies. How it used to be like people would not care as much. It would be for a direct audience of fans, and now it's for common people, and it's big blockbusters now, much like Star Trek has. You recently seen with Beyond being a big budget blockbuster movie and not as much of a old school Star Trek movie. That's the same with James Bond.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. Alright then, moving on to our next news story. Suicide Squad, over the Labor Day weekend, has crossed $300 million domestically. This means that it has passed Man of Steel domestically, and it has passed Man of Steel worldwide. Right now, domestically, it sits at almost $301 million, and worldwide, it sits at $678 million. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm happy. I thought Suicide Squad was the best movie DC's made since The Dark Knight. So I think now that it's making more money than Man of Steel, they know what kind of direction the general audience wants them to go in. They don't want it to be too edgy.
I would disagree, because Suicide Squad, it was messy. It was, I didn't like it. I thought it was horrible, and one of the worst DC movies ever since Green Lantern. I just did not like it, did not like the characterizations, and it just really was horrible. It's literally like Harley Quinn and Joker were passing love notes in high school. Like, should you pass it to her in study hall? So I was not the biggest fan. But if we're looking at the numbers, this is clear that kids like flashy lights. If you want to see Hot Topic turned into a movie, then that is Suicide Squad. Kids like that. There was a lot of hip-hop, so that really appealed to the kids. But as for me, wasn't a really big fan, and this teaches Warner Brothers that they can interfere with movies.
License Halloween costumes, make bank.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
On the other hand, I've not seen Suicide Squad, so I can't really make a comment on it.
Well, I saw it. It's opening day. I was so excited for this movie, and I really liked this movie, but the issue with Warner Brothers and their DC movies are they're expecting way too much out of these. With Batman vs. Superman, they expected at least to get $1 billion, and that movie barely, I don't even think it reached 900 million, so it didn't even reach $1 billion. And this one, they said to break even, they need to make $800 million Like, that is insane. To think that you need to get that much. But this movie, I thought it was really good. I think they got the characters down perfectly. The plot was kind of choppy, and I wasn't a big fan of Enchantress's villain. I thought it was kind of weird when she was like waving her arms around and like
hula dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a pretty weak villain too.
Now the other guy that was the other villain, they didn't really use him much, but I think if they would have done more with fleshing out their characters, the villain would have been better. But they fleshed out the team very well, as in your point about how Harley and Joker are like passing the notes. That's always how they've been there. Because they aren't exactly mature adults. They're always like doing crazy stuff. They're basically like the crazy high school kids. You have Deadshot, who he's a man that does what he has to for his family. And then the real winner of that movie was El Diablo.
No spoilers, but
He was a great character overall, and I also love Slipknot and Captain Boomerang. They did them all so great. So
you've gotta love Lord Slipknot.
Well, they developed the characters well enough, but they're pretty much all stereotypes. Like, you have the Australian who wanted to go to the bar. You had the African American who had to do what he had to do for his family, sort of thing. You had the gangster, sort of Latino.
Yeah, that is
the
true.
Crazy white girl.
See, all of these characters that they did, they are almost straight out of the comic books, how they are. The only one that I was not familiar with was El Diablo going into the movie, and they really worked their magic to help make each one of them shine as a star equally. Even though the plot wasn't that great, the characters I felt were on the team were very fleshed out, and they were done very well.
Yeah, too bad. These are great numbers, but too bad this movie needs, like, what, 1 trillion more to break even.
Yeah.
Moving on.
200 more million.
Yeah, no, like, what, 5 trillion to break even? I mean, that's how they're spinning it. But next we have Passengers, the new poster for Passengers. So, they have taken a long time to release any promotional material, and this movie is 3 months away. So what are your thoughts on the new Passengers poster?
Basic.
Basic.
I mean, what else is there to say, really? It's Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence in front of the poster. There's nothing really else to say.
Yeah, but you also have to think about it. You have Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. You just put this two on a poster and you say that they're the 2 stars in a movie. That
Make
movie's
bank.
going to make money. Yeah.
It doesn't
That
really.
movie.
This is the thing, though. I mean, you could do it with any film, but I think with this, surely they should have given it more of a hint towards the story or the genre. But I didn't really get that really with the poster. I mean, I'm very well aware. I think a lot of people are very well aware that they're going to both be in the film. But I would have liked a bit more indication of what the film was about, rather than, oh, it's them 2 in it, therefore see the film. I mean,
Yeah.
The only
A bit
issue
more.
with trying to put what the film is on a poster is how they described it, like at Comic-Con. I can understand why it's really hard to put it on the poster what it's like. It's kind of
Yeah.
like how Lucy was a few years ago, where you could put her face on the poster and you could say something about the brain, but you really didn't understand what the movie was about. This is much
doesn't
like
though.
that.
I think it needs to tease the film. I mean, that's the whole idea of a teaser poster, is that it's a teasing of what the film should be. It doesn't have to really. I just felt that I needed a bit more than what we got. It felt very lazy.
And
That's just me, though.
And not to mention that this movie has a ton of competition. I mean, it has Star Wars Rogue One. It has...
Sci-fi movie coming out the same month as Star Wars.
It's like a
La
week...
La Land.
It's like a week after. Oh yeah, and you have Assassin's Creed, which I completely forgot about.
I forgot that as well.
Well,
Yeah.
I think everybody will forget about Assassin's Creed by the time it actually comes out, because that movie, I'm telling you right now, will not make barely any money.
It will be like
Because-
Warcraft.
Well, see, they killed themselves when they said in an interview that, like, they said 70% of the movie will be in present time and the other part will be in the past.
Yeah.
The past is the most fun part of those games. Why would you even
Yeah,
come
no
out
one
and say
cares
that?
about the modern part of Assassin's Creed.
Do you think they'll
But-
move it to 2017 in a panic? They'll move it perhaps to spring or hell, even summer, even.
Yeah.
If I were, was it Ubisoft that is actually like releasing it still?
It's Fox. It's Fox and Ubisoft, I think.
Yeah. If I were them, I would actually put it in January, because
Yeah.
for one, the movie doesn't seem that great, and that's a big budget movie, and movies that aren't that
Alternate
great.
the programming to the Oscars, I guess.
Yeah, and then, well, honestly, this Passengers movie, the way what it's about, if I read, it's like they're on like a ship or something, and they're the only two on that ship. It actually sounds like it will be a pretty interesting movie, and they are putting a lot of stuff into this in the next few months. So I feel like this movie will end up being really big. I don't think Star Wars Rogue One will be nearly half as big as the last movie was.
No.
No.
Because there are people who don't know when Rogue One is set. It's
This
just
is
not
a-
accessible.
There's just the people that don't care as much for this one as how you had this other one with known characters. You're bringing in this one with a bunch of new characters, but they are trying to push in other people by bringing in Darth Vader into this movie. They had
It's
announced.
purely, the thing about Rogue One is that it's basically nostalgia in a sense. I mean, they're relying on nostalgia and they're relying on the time period of the original trilogy in order to win in that audience back. And the thing is, I don't know if people are going to be really as pulled into this one as the new trilogy is, because it's not, because they're harking back to so much source material and they're harking back to a lot of, past continuity. So it's going to be very, very
Yeah.
difficult to win in that new crowd. But you never know.
Yeah, where Force Awakens brought in the new crowd very well. This one, you have to know some of the lore for this one.
Yeah, some mythology.
Because they explain the lore in Force Awakens pretty well, and there wasn't very much that you needed to know, because to me it was basically just a rehash of A New Hope, but it was still pretty good. And I did like all the characters, but I feel like Rogue One will be an interesting one when it comes out. I don't think it should be released at Christmas time. I think it should have been released in
Yeah.
March.
Well,
I think
everyone
they need
knows.
something for that Christmas. Sorry, I was just gonna say I think they need something for that Christmas, programming really. Because for
Yeah.
at the beginning of the decade it was Lord of the Rings and then The Hobbit and King Kong had it. So I think they want something, that big massive blockbuster for the end of the year.
And the prequel trilogy was around that time. I do believe.
Trilogy, what, the Star Wars?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
That
was.
was that was May.
Well, prequels
Oh,
don't
really?
exist.
Yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah, totally not.
No, of course they exist. Of course they exist. Oh, am I talking to haters of the prequel trilogy here?
Yeah.
I
Might
do
be.
not like.
Oh,
I don't like the first half of the first movie.
Third one's
I like-
okay.
I think I'm a rarity here. I'm one of the people that actually like the prequels.
The only one I didn't like was the half of the first movie. I thought it was boring. I was not a big fan of
Wait.
Jar Jar.
Wait.
You thought Attack of the Clones was not boring.
Actually, I got.
Before we start a flame war in the comment section, I have the next news story. So the Uncharted movie actually lost its release date. So we learned just over a month ago that Joe Carnahan had come forward for the project, and he was I guess, courted as screenwriter, but it looks like Sony Pictures will need a little bit more time to get the Uncharted movie ready to go. This film was removed from the studio's release calendar today. It was previously scheduled to hit theaters on June 30th, 2017. What are your thoughts on this removal?
Can I go first? Because I take this one very personally. Because as a person who has played all the Uncharted games probably about 5 times each, I absolutely love this franchise. And I am mildly excited to see it be taken to the screen because I know how video games are taken to the screen sometimes. And what they were trying to do a few years ago, where they had like Mark Wahlberg playing Nathan Drake, and then they like cast Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro to be like his dad and uncle. There's nothing like that in the game, and that made me so mad. And then it seemed like they're going in the right direction again. They're trying to base it around the first game, but they have to find the perfect person to play Nathan Drake, or you're going to have a lot of people angry. And this movie is going to have to be a big budget movie too. There's no way you can't do it on a low budget, and that's another issue of the Uncharted movie I could see coming.
And also looking at the amount of competition it had, I'm just gonna go to Box Office Mojo and go to the release schedule. Hold on.
That's around the time Spider-Man is out too. Ooh.
Okay.
But also, I don't know who's really gonna see the Uncharted movie. Just because not many people go to video game movies unless they played the game or they have somewhat of an interest.
Wait, hold on. Here's the schedule. So there is Captain Underpants. There is Wonder Woman. That's like the second. That's the 2nd of June. So wait, let's fast.
Right, wait. Let me just say something.
Okay.
I can agree with you on the video games one, but with Uncharted, they could sell that movie being like the next Indiana Jones.
But they're making a new Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but let's face it. After the last Indiana Jones, nobody is exactly craving for another Harrison Ford Indiana Jones movie.
You do raise a good point.
You have this new one with a younger actor, and you can bring in a whole new franchise that's much like the Indiana Jones one. And I can see that working very well.
Good point. Looking at the competition, on the 23rd, on the 16th, so keep in mind that this is scheduled for a 30th of June release date. So on the 16th, it has Cars 3. So usually those Disney animated movies tend to have really good legs, domestically and worldwide. So that... Mm-hmm.
You said that it was going up against Cars 3?
Oh, no. No, it's not going up against Cars 3. No, it's 2 weeks before. Cars 3 is 2 weeks before. And then after that we have some other movies. We have Kingsman, The Golden Circle. And then we have Matthew's favorite, Transformers Last Night. And that one is a week before.
Oh my god, no.
And then the week after, we have Despicable Me 3. And then the week after that... Okay, so Despicable Me 3 will be on the same week.
It's gonna be a great summer.
I tell you what would have been a great time. Would have probably been... Alright, so, yeah. It would have been a good time in the middle of August to release this movie. Or the beginning of August.
Oh, yeah, and Spider-Man... Oh, sorry?
Yeah. I put it out a few weeks after Spider-Man.
Yes,
but... Right there... against like Transformers, which this Transformers, I'm telling you right now, this is going to drop its money less than the last one. Because with as bad as the last one was, nobody's going to be flocking out to see this one as much. You'll have the kids who will want to see it, but like you said, it comes out a week after Cars, and 2 weeks later is Despicable Me. This Transformers won't do nearly as well. And then Kingsman will be another sleeper hit, like the first one was with its rated R. So adults will want to go see that one while they can send their kids off to see Transformers and Cars.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a good point for Uncharted, I think.
If I can just say this, you say obviously not many people want to see a Transformers movie unless they want to see a Transformers movie now, but also the plot is going more like sci-fi sort of than action, and they're going like more into space like the current comics are doing. So most people aren't interested in that. The people who would have went to see Transformers casually.
Well,
Did he correctly say that Transformers had a plot? You sure?
Well, they said that they want to do like half of the movie is following Optimus in space and the other half's on Earth. For one, that will not work. That will not work. And the other worst part about this is Michael Bay is directing it still. So, and as much as I like the original trilogy, that last one killed it for me.
I gave up after 2.
I respect that decision.
Thank you.
Alrighty then, we have our last news story for the day, and that would be that the Booster Gold movie that everyone was talking about will not be a part of the DCEU. Greg Berlanti is no longer connected to Superhero Fare, having created and executive produced the likes of Arrow, Vomit, Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, which all share a continuity on the CW. Berlanti previously confirmed his involvement in bringing Booster Gold to life for Warner Brothers, albeit on the big screen and not on television. But now, in an interview with Vulture, he confirms that the film is a standalone and will not be a part of the DC Extended Universe. What do you guys think of this? The DC is burning! Like, kill it with fire! No, I'm kidding. What do you guys really think?
Can I just say this? Did you say that Booster Gold everybody was talking about, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this.
You haven't heard about Booster Gold?
Oh yeah, well I'm
Okay.
I'm kind of biased because I'm on like the DC subreddit, so.
Sure.
No, who the hell's Booster Gold? That's the thing.
Okay, so he's kind of like one of those like niche superheroes that no one really knows about. He's kind of like, do you know Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange? Before there are movies, knowing who Booster Gold is like knowing who the Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange are. Like, have you guys ever heard of Swamp Thing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's Swamp Thing, there is Sandman, there are...
Hey, I know Sandman.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a different Sandman. I think he's... Are you talking about the Spider-Man?
No, not...
DC one.
Yeah, the DC one, yeah. I'm like...
There's different Sandman, and it's the complete opposite of the Spider-Man villain. But, so, you guys haven't heard of Booster Gold before? At all?
Nope.
Alright. Well, Booster Gold is kind of like this super comedy character where they previously said that they were thinking about making this a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle movie because they're known in the comics to be like a team all the time. And Booster Gold's just this cocky guy who goes and he's a quarterback in the future, like 1,000 years in the future. And well, they like realize that he does like steroids or something, and he gets kicked out, and he's mopping. He like works at a museum, and
Flash
his
Museum?
It's like every superhero, like Green Lantern, Superman stuff. And what he does is he like steals their stuff and he puts it on, and he goes back in time to become like the greatest hero ever, Booster Gold. And he thinks everybody should love him, and he's not that great of a person. No, but he's always played more out as a comedy. So this is actually one of my favorite DC characters because I love the characters who can make me laugh, also like being serious. So I could see a Booster Gold movie working, but I could also see it failing it could be either DC's Deadpool, or it could be another Jonah Hex.
What really bothers me is that it's not connected. So I don't want to have like a Fox or Sony, well, not Sony anymore, but like a Fox situation where this isn't connected to everything. So I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed in that aspect.
But what if, because it's the same guy who works on a TV series, what if this is just a way to get like some of the Legends of Tomorrow up on the TV screen? This could be a way to bring in television people into letting them do their own movie, because they could feel like they deserve it. And then it could also bring together the two different like Earths. Like they have that Crisis on Two Earths comics, which this is going really crazy, DC. But as you've seen the recent DC stuff, I don't think they're afraid to go too crazy. Which it's like they bring together the two Earths, and like there's an ultimate Earth. So they could end up bringing in Booster Gold on like Legends of Tomorrow or something, and then make the movie. And then that's what I would like to see at least. And then they could interconnect the movie and the TV show.
Good.
I'm pretty sure they said they would never connect the TV shows with the movies. I forget where I saw that, but...
Alrighty then. Well, it's time to move on to our next segment, where weekly we will be discussing the movies that are coming up next. So you have this one, Matthew. You have the floor.
Okay. So, arguably what's going to be the biggest movie is Sully. And that's coming out September 9th in the US. It's directed by Clint Eastwood. It's got Tom Hanks in it. And it was about Flight 1549, which is what crashed in the Hudson River. And that's going to do very well in the US, because it's sort of like, you know, a memorial film almost. And those do very well domestically, but it's not going to do well worldwide. And then after that is Before I Wake, which is a horror movie that I can't really find much information on. It's directed by Mike Flanagan, with Thomas Jane and Kate Bosworth, and it's about some foster child's dreams like becoming real, and they have to stop his nightmares. And then there's The Wildlife, which is this animated kids movie from France, I think. It's got two directors who I've never heard of, Ben Stassen and Vincent Castellat. It's got two people with German names I'm not going to say. It's about animals and stuff, and it's only in Canada, and it's not going to do well. And then there's When the Bow Breaks, which is a thriller movie, which is directed by John Casser. It has Morris Chestnut, Regina Hall, and it's, I don't know, I couldn't find much info on it either, but it's something about, like, this couple getting a surrogate mother, and it's a thriller, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out.
Yeah, they haven't had very much advertisement for that one in the US, at least, so I don't see that one doing very well. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all going to do bad, except Sully, which is going to make a ton.
I don't know if it'll make a ton. I think it'll make good money. I don't think it'll make a ton. Biopics don't always do that great.
But it's got a low budget, I'm pretty sure, so it's definitely going to break even.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'll break even. I don't know if it'll reach Clint Eastwood's last movie, American Sniper.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it'll be like a modest biopic movie, like 42, the Jackie Robinson movie they did a few years back. I think it'll hit around that point. But you mentioned that the Wildlife movie. I keep seeing advertisements for that when I watch television. That movie looks like the next Norm of the North, and I do not know why people keep letting these movies get made.
I don't know who like greenlights these. It's from Illuminatia or something.
Yeah, it's like so stiff and ugly to just watch the trailer. Beast. No
Yeah,
Uncharted.
it's trying to cash in on Rio, which was like a few years ago.
Yeah. The second Rio couldn't cash in on Rio.
Yep. So this German sort of film festival movie isn't really going to do that.
Alright.
What?
What's next?
Connor?
Do you want me to do the Q&A now?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. Okay, so overall we got about 4 questions in from the link that was, or the thread that was submitted about, I think it was 2 days ago you did it, so yeah, we've got about 4 questions overall. Do you want us to read them all out?
Yeah, sure. Read out the first one. Shout out to Silver Royce.
Sure. So he firstly asked for the link of the podcast, which he then gave him, but I'm going to move on to the questions. So his first question, he asks about Rogue One, and he asks what he thinks is the most similar film in terms of box office potential and the position in the franchise to Rogue One. And when predicting this film's gross, what are your 1 or 2 go-to comparisons? So I would like to start off by answering that question, and then everyone else can sort of chime in. In terms of what's coming out this year, I actually think the one I think that could be the most related to that would be Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I think the reason for that is that, one, they're both spin-offs of the main story. I mean, Fantastic Beasts is more of a prequel, but it's, again, sorry, I can't say that word. It's different, moving away from the Harry Potter story. I was Rogue One is sort of similar, but a bit more closely intertwined with the original trilogy. So there's that. I think someone mentioned the Phantom Menace was a good comparison. I don't quite agree with that, but I can see where you're going to with that. But predicting the gross, I think it probably could do $1 billion, but I don't think it will go any further. That's what I'd say.
Can I add something?
Go for it, yeah.
So yeah, people are using the same excuse that they used for Captain America Civil War. So that would kind of be a comparison in a sense because, well, I guess we'll have to see when the movie comes out. But Darth Vader was shown in the trailer, and same way how Spider-Man was shown, and people were swearing on their children that Captain America Civil War will gross crazy numbers, like, oh, it will be the next $2 billion film, oh, it will be the next $1.5 billion film, oh, it's gonna make $650 million domestically. Some people even promised on their lives and on their mothers, Martha, that the movie will make $220 million opening weekend domestically. So I think that Darth Vader, he is a big draw, but it doesn't really seem like the general audience is as interested in Rogue One as they were with The Force Awakens. But I do think that it has the possibility of doing 1.1 to 1.3 billion, maybe I think I'm going to go with a conservative estimate of 169 million opening weekend domestic.
That's good. Alright, okay. I kind of agree with you when it comes to that. I feel like Rogue One has either 2 ways of going. It will be like last year when we weren't sure. We were thinking Star Wars is going to do great. We didn't think it was going to annihilate everything else that ever came out before it, but it came out and it got over $220 million or something like that. Rogue One I think it'll hit half of that. Because where it's just like how Connor had said, that it's kind of like how Fantastic Beasts is, where they're both prequels and 2 big franchises. Of course, Star Wars has shown since last year that it's a much larger franchise than Harry Potter is. But honestly, Rogue One will either hit $1 billion, or I think it'll end up somewhere in the 900 million or 800 million to 900 million. I don't think it will be nearly as successful as the last one.
Either way, either way, we can agree that this is a great year for Disney, because if right now I'm looking at the 2016 worldwide grosses, and at number one we have Captain America: Civil War, we have Zootopia, we have The Jungle Book, we have Finding Dory, and then we have BVS. But if you look at the top four, those are Disney movies. So I'm like 90% sure that Rogue One will pass Batman v Superman, which will lead us to a top 5 domination from Disney and monopoly over the box
Actually,
office.
I could see it end up being around the same area as Batman versus Superman with the words. Because, well, it is a Star Wars movie. It's not a super popular Star Wars movie. While Darth Vader will draw people in, it'll probably end up being like Smog in the second Hobbit movie. He'll be in it for about 10 minutes. And it's just used to bring people in.
Matthew, what are your thoughts?
I just want to say that I hope Darth Vader isn't in there just to bring people in. Because ever since day one, they were promising that he would be a big part of it. So I think if they just use him as a marketing ploy, that would turn off a lot of people from going to multiple sittings, which is what they're going to want to have, because again, not everyone's going to go see it. So I think, like, what's the biggest comparison? I think that the Harry Potter movie, like the Harry Potter spin-off, is probably the best bet, or Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, I mean it won't get into. I don't see it doing any more than it will gross around the gross of Ant-Man, but it won't. I don't think it will do as well as Ant-Man.
With Doctor Strange, it's the way I look at Doctor Strange is it's Marvel's Inception.
Oh yeah.
That's the way that I look at it, and I honestly think after they've shown with all these past years, they can take these odd characters and they can make great films out of them. And I think people are finally actually starting to realize that. So I actually think it'll gross around the Guardians numbers instead. It'll
Guardians?
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy numbers where it'll probably hit 100 million, because it doesn't, honestly, other than Fantastic Beasts and Star Wars, there's nothing else that will really butt heads with that movie.
Alrighty then. I think we have time for 2 more questions.
Sure, so do you want Silver Royce's second one, or do you want to move on to the other 2?
We should do the second one.
Okay. So the next one's about Mad Max, and mainly the spin-offs, and Silver Royce asks about the box office potential of any Mad Max spin-offs that may include Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, or maybe Mel Gibson. So I'll open that to people.
So I will go off on a limb here and say that, well, not on a limb, because it's a pretty popular opinion, but I really liked the new Mad Max Fury Road. It was...
I think everyone liked the new Mad Max film.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
very, very big.
Yeah, I really liked it. So I think I really want a sequel with Tom Hardy and Furiosa. So yeah, I really hope that there is one.
What about Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson, I'm not so sure about that. And then, I think that it does have box office potential. I mean, it was rated R, and it was still able to gross $378 million worldwide. So I think that if they were to, I don't think that they'll ever settle on a PG-13 rating, but, if the other ones are, as well received as they were, and it has huge marketing, then I think we could possibly get a Mad Max movie at around 450 million or 500 million worldwide. So that's what I think. What do you guys think?
Well, about what you said with the rating, I don't think Mad Max, especially in this day and age, needs a PG-13 rating, because it's just not sort of the audience that's going to go see a movie called Mad Max.
Okay. Alright, I'll go. Thing with the Mad Max Fury Road, while it was received by many, everybody loved it that saw it. The problem was they were having problems making enough money to warrant the sequel. And they want to do, the director said wanted to do a Furiosa spinoff, and I don't believe that the Charlize Theron will want to go and do it again, because she even came out and she said that it was just awful working out there, but she did like the cast. They won't do another one with Max and her. If they do them, it'll be a movie with just her, and then they'll do a movie with Tom Hardy's Max. The only thing with, if Gibson ever does it, it'll be kind of like, have you ever seen the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series? Ever heard of it?
No, I've heard of it though.
I heard of it. I never watched it.
It's a spin-off of the Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell's Ash character. If they were to do that with Gibson's Mad Max, I think that would work as like a TV show on like Stars. But I don't see Mel Gibson ever getting a movie again. But I think that they will end up doing another Mad Max movie with Tom Hardy eventually at some point in the future. But the problem is that they'll have to lower their budget because they just had enough. They made their money back, but they were struggling to make it to warrant the sequel. So I absolutely love the movie, but hopefully they get to make more.
Alrighty then. What's our final question?
Okay.
Let's go to the last one.
You want to go to the very last one, or
Yeah.
you want the DreamWorks one, or the film profitable one?
Which one do you guys want to do?
I'd like to talk about the flops.
Okay.
That one.
Yep. Okay. So the question's from NJ Bergener. Sorry. Is what film is commonly accepted as being a flop but was actually profitable? I don't know on this one. I haven't really properly researched this one, so I'm going to throw this to anyone else who might have an answer.
Yeah, I saw that one and I kind of wanted to run away from it, but I'm not sure.
I got a couple big ones they'll honestly surprise you. You remember the Hook movie with Robin Williams and
Oh yeah.
That one's always called a flop. People always call it a flop. It's critically not left. But people love the movie now. It's considered a classic. But back then, it was made for $70 million, which that was a lot of money. That's like, now that's like $160 million.
But
They actually ended up calling it a flop. But that movie ended up making $300 million internationally. Domestically, it can be considered a flop, though. Then there's the other two are probably two of the most famous ones ever, and that's Waterworld, the one with Kevin Costner, that everybody calls a flop because it was the most expensive movie ever made. And that movie ended up making more than half of its budget. It made its budget back, and then it made about half of what its actual budget was more. And that was very impressive by that movie, even though a lot of people constantly rip on that movie.
Or what about our friend? Oh, sorry?
No, you can say something.
Oh no, I was gonna add something else, but just finish.
Okay, and then the last one is the one that I detest this movie with every part of my body, and that's The Last Airbender.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That movie, people hated it, but people went and saw that movie like it was going out of style. Because for getting made for $150 million, it made $319 million. And wow, last year I guess M. Night Shyamalan said that he will begin working on the sequel in the next year. So we may get a sequel to this one eventually because it made its money back. It actually was very profitable, which surprised many people as much hate this movie got too.
Alright then. I would say that mine would probably be Warcraft. I still haven't seen it yet, but it had a budget of $160 million, and and its worldwide box office was 433 million worldwide. So, I wouldn't call it. Everyone likes to label it a flop. I mean, it still was profitable, but had it had good reviews, like maybe like 60% Rotten Tomatoes and above, I think that it would have been able to do way better.
Yeah. The issue with movies these days are they'll make these movies and they'll say the budget's 160 million, but then the budget actually sometimes can get doubled, like with Suicide Squad, where that movie was made for about 130, 150, but for some reason they need 800 million to break even. That's because they put way too much marketing into a movie that they didn't need to. And that ends up jacking up the prices so much. Which I feel like that's part of the thing with Warcraft, but I'm still very excited. I still haven't got to see Warcraft. I want it, but I know it's supposed to be very good by people who like the game.
What are your thoughts, Matthew?
So, for a movie that I picked as a flop, this one's a bit older, but I'm gonna have to go with the movie The Big Lebowski.
Oh.
Because when that came out, its budget was around 15 million, and that movie just got torn apart when it came out. Like, very few good reviews, but now it's a cult classic, and it made like 50 million, I think.
46.2.
So in the end, it made it back its budget, and now it's a classic. But like when it came out, that was considered like a huge flop. And now it's getting a spin-off movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you guys have any closing thoughts?
I honestly, go and see Kubo and the Two Strings, I believe is what it's called. I went and saw it, and that movie's absolutely amazing. And I just want people to go see that movie because it deserves it. That one and Pete's Dragon.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you viewers for listening. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Give us karma on Reddit. We will still have these weekly threads where we will be asking you to submit questions, and hopefully your question will be shown on the show. So thank you guys for watching. There will be a Monday episode where we will be breaking down the box office, which is Box Office Watch. And next Wednesday, same time, same bat channel, we will be talking about movies with more juicy movie news. So thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Great day. Great day. Great day. Great day. Great day.